Vision for Nigeria 2016, a briefing from the Business Council for Africa.
Nigeria is Africa's largest economy, its most populous economy, and for a lot of investors and potential investors in Africa, Nigeria is the country that offers scale.
2015 was the weakest year of growth in Nigeria for over a decade, and we predict slightly stronger growth, but in the historical context, it's still a difficult year for Nigeria ahead.
Nigeria has faced a lot of challenges, and the new government inherited a lot of challenges. The treasury was empty. That was the start for President Buhari and his team.
The price of crude oil is going to be a massive determiner of what the government is able to do, whether it can meet its budget commitments, whether it can carry out the spending plans for infrastructure, for public works, which it intends to do to stop the country from falling into recession and to create the jobs which were such an important part of the new president's agenda.
I think initially there was a lot of optimism about the new government, but there's been some frustration with the pace of reform and decision making, how long it took to form a cabinet, and indeed some of the policies that were adopted weren't seen as particularly business friendly, such as the capital controls and import restrictions. So I think we're really looking to 2016 to see how government might become more business friendly.
The government does need to greatly broaden the tax base to compensate in part for the loss of oil revenue. So we're expecting developments there.
People are very happy that Buhari and his team are being so strict and cracking down on corruption. Some Nigerians feel that as bad as that was, that's water under the bridge, and the focus should be much more on the future.
The vision has to be to try to perform better than 2015, to manage the difficulties posed by low oil prices as best as possible, and to really, for the new government, to really start to make decisions quicker, develop policies that promote growth and promote economic development.
We believe that the key issue is going to be confidence in the Nigerian economy. Although oil makes a very small contribution to overall GDP, it is very important to the country's export earnings still. And one of the big areas of focus for a lot of businesses in Nigeria has been the availability of foreign exchange.
Well, clearly the world oil price is a key driver for Nigeria. It makes up a very high proportion of its fiscal revenue and its exports, but it's also how the government responds to the low oil prices in terms of its fiscal policy, in terms of its monetary, and also around areas like foreign exchange restrictions.
There's something very good about what has happened, and that is that for so long Nigeria has been a one-trick pony, if I can put it that way. All the focus has been oil and gas. The focus of the government, the focus of banking, everything has been oil and gas. And so Nigeria has not developed a broad-based economy, which is essential.
At Standard Chartered, we're still very optimistic on the longer-term growth outlook for Africa. We understand that with the correction in commodity prices, with concerns about China's own growth trajectory, that this is going to be a more difficult time for external markets in Africa. Nonetheless, the fundamental building blocks of Africa's growth, the fact that we've seen the rise of the African consumer, greater reach of financial intermediation, credit being available for the first time, the technology that is driving change in Africa, all of these factors that have to do with Africa's own domestically generated growth are still in place. And on that basis, the outlook is still promising.
At street level, life does go on. And even though the oil price is nowhere near what it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it's still a country of more than 150 million people. And it's still a huge market, it's still a huge opportunity. People still need to work and eat and drink and consume. And those, that very, very basic fundamental of the country is still there and will persist.
This is one of the key things that we do is we do macroeconomic forecasting. So in the presentation we will present our outlook for Nigeria in 2016. We'll look across the different parts of the economy, what the outlook will be for the exchange rate, when or if we expect the Nigerian central bank to devalue, and we'll also look at the prospects across different sectors and look at the different risks and challenges, both in 2016 and looking further beyond.
What we're looking for and what the businesses that we work with are looking for are indications of how the regulatory environment, how the legal environment, how the operating environment is going to change as the government copes with and tries to find solutions for the huge loss of oil revenue.
Well, our work in BCA generally, for the whole of sub-Saharan Africa, is to dispel the myths and give our members the information they need to do business in Africa. We are positive, and we will continue to be positive, that Nigeria provides a lot of opportunities in the year ahead. Despite the challenges, to us the glass is half full